So, you sit down to work on your side project, the time is blocked out, coffee is ready, but you just can't. You find yourself cleaning the kitchen again, scrolling Instagram, or just staring blankly at a screen. And immediately the negative self-talk starts, right? And you start asking yourself, why am I so lazy? Why am I so undisciplined? Why can't I just be as disciplined as this other person on social media who does everything by 10 a.m.? But here is the truth that really was enlightening for me. You might not be procrastinating, you just might be burned out. On the surface, they look exactly the same because you're not working, right? However, internally, they are opposites. And if you try to fix burnout with discipline, you are going to crash. So today, I am sharing the key differences between burnout and procrastination, and I'm going to give you my specific protocols to overcome both. Now, whether you're procrastinating or burning out, the root cause most of the time has to do with clarity. That is why I want you to download my weekly reset blueprint. It is designed to help you set realistic goals that do not overwhelm you, so you can stop freezing up and start moving forward. Now, the link to download that template is in the description box below, or simply comment weekly reset and I'm going to send that to you. And if you're tired of the hustle culture that tells you to sleep when you're dead, I want you to hit that subscribe button. I'm here to help you explore your creativity and make progress towards your side project sustainably, even while working full-time, so you can actually enjoy the life you're working so hard to create. So I see this constantly with some of my clients. A lot of them struggle with lack of accountability, and they say, I need more accountability because I keep procrastinating. Now, even though accountability is an issue, they are working about 50 hours a week, managing a home and trying to build a side project on 4 hours sleep. They are not lazy, right? They're empty. And one of my clients said she actually felt guilty when she rests. Now, once we identified that she was in burnout and not procrastination, we stopped trying to push harder and started strategizing rest. I literally told her to forget about everything else and focus on getting at least 7 hours of sleep every single day, simply because that sleep is what sustains you through the rest of the day. If you do not rest, you will not be 100% throughout the day, whether at work or even at your side project or at home, right? And we created a system where she focused on one thing and prioritized rest during this period. And guess what? She was actually able to achieve her one thing. And for her during this time, it was really getting comfortable and acquainted with her new job. And in Lyra's words, focusing on the one thing was a game changer for her. So we use the words lazy and tired interchangeably. However, your body knows the difference. If you treat burnout like procrastination, by forcing yourself to work harder, you are going to crash. And if you treat procrastination like burnout, by resting when you should be acting, you will never build momentum. Now, here is a 3-point test to know exactly which one you're dealing with at the moment. Now, when it's procrastination, you're avoiding one specific thing. You don't want to write that specific one client email. Trust me, I know about this. But you're perfectly happy with reorganizing your spice rack again, or texting your friends, or going for a run. So in this scenario, your energy is blocked and not necessarily gone. However, when it comes to burnout, the exhaustion is global. You do not want to write that email, but you equally do not want to go out for happy hour. You don't want to cook. You don't want to text your parents back. Everything, and I mean every single thing, feels heavy. And I can really attest to this because I have experienced both. So that is the first test, and that is what we call the scope test. Now, the second test is the distraction test. And here, are you seeking pleasure, or are you just wanting to numb yourself? When you procrastinate, you're usually seeking a dopamine hit. You're watching a show you actually like, even though you feel guilty watching it. And you might even be doing productive procrastinating, right? And that looks like cleaning the house, doing laundry. You are trying to find that dopamine hit. However, with burnout, you are not seeking pleasure, you are seeking numbness. You are dumb scrolling for 2 hours, but not really reading anything. You're staring at the wall, right? It's not fun, it's just an escape. An escape from reality because your brain is at capacity. Now, the third test is the rest test, right? Does rest fix the issue? When you're procrastinating, if you take a nap, you wake up feeling guilty, but you do have energy. The task is just still there waiting for you. However, when it's burnout, you sleep for 10 hours and you still wake up feeling tired. And that right there is the hallmark of burnout, because it's not a sleep deficit, it's a nervous system deficit. Sleep alone cannot fix that because the emotional tank is empty. So look at your symptoms. If you you failed the rest test and the distraction test, you want to stop trying to use discipline, right? Because what you need is recovery. So be honest with me in the comments. Which one are you feeling right now? Are you avoiding a scary task? That will be procrastination. Or are you just completely empty? So here are the 2 protocols to combat both. We're going to call the first one protocol A, and that is the procrastination fix. If you are procrastinating, your problem is resistance. You are avoiding discomfort. The solution here is to lower the barrier of entry. And you can use this 3 ways to do that. Now, the first one is the micro-step method. Usually we procrastinate because the task in front of us just feels too big. Now, write a blog post is scary, right? That is big. However, open this Google Doc. It's pretty simple. It's like, okay, I can do that in a second. The goal here is not to finish the task. The goal is to actually start the task. You want to break the task down until the first step is so stupidly easy, you simply cannot say no to it. The second way to beat procrastination is using the 5-minute rule. You want to tell yourself, I'm going to do this task for exactly 5 minutes. And if I hate it, I can stop. The brain fears the idea of the work more than the work itself. Once you start and the dopamine kicks in, you're more likely to complete the task or go way beyond what you even expected. And the final method to beat procrastination is Eat the Frog. And this is from the book It's the Frog or Eat That Frog. I can't remember, but the philosophy here is simple, right? You want to do the thing you are dreading first. If you wait till 8 p.m. to do that thing, you're going to spend 12 hours draining your energy just thinking about doing it. So you want to do it, get it done, and then feel the relief. So now that we have talked about protocol A, which is the procrastination fix, we're going to dive into protocol B, which is the burnout fix. Now, if you're burning out, the problem is depletion. You simply do not have any fuel. The solution here is to stop the output and focus more or increase the input. Now, the first method to overcome burnout is the minimum viable day. This is the most important tool for high achievers. When you are in burnout, you cannot operate at 100%, right? You want to strive for 20%. So look at your to-do list and ask yourself, what will get me fired or sued if I do not get it done? That is what you want to focus on, right? Everything else can wait. Whether it's the laundry, the side project tasks, the networking, right? You need to pause because it can't wait. It can be done later. What you need to focus now is really your input and rebuilding your energy and your momentum and just taking care of yourself. Because at this point, you are in survival mode and that is okay. The second method is the active versus passive recovery. Now, scrolling Instagram is passive recovery, right? It numbs you, but it doesn't recharge you. What you need is active recovery, and that looks like going for a walk without any headphones, taking a nap, maybe sitting in a quiet room. You need to give your nervous system a break from doing too much, always trying to get things done. Now, the third method is a no boundary. If you are in burnout, your answer to every request for the next 7 days is no. And this is exactly what we did with one of my clients, and that is the person I referenced at the start of the video. She was so exhausted and burned out and still wasn't getting enough sleep, even when she went to bed. So I told her, say no to everything. Your one thing right now is rest. Apart from the fact that you are getting acquainted with your job, you have to do a good job at work, of course. That pays the bills. But for yourself, for your mental health, your number one thing right now is rest. Because once you recover, you are going to do a better job at work. You are going to do a better job when it comes to your side projects, even with your relationships. Once you are recovered, once you're recharged, then everything is clearer, right? You have more clarity. But once you're depleted, there's really not much you can do. You're just going to be off track all around. And I told her, if you think about anything that you need to do, which is not urgent, simply write it down and rest. So she did that for a week, and in the second week, she was energized again and then slowly got back to her rhythm. She was able to start planning her week again using the weekly reset template, and she slowly started getting back into her side project goals and her other personal goals. So make sure you comment weekly reset below, and I'm going to send you the weekly reset template, or you can simply go to the description box below and download it for yourself. Remember, you can push through procrastination, but you must pause for burnout. Knowing the difference is going to save you so much, whether it's a job or your side projects or even your relationships. The most dangerous thing you can do as a creative is treating your body as a machine. It is an ecosystem, right? If you ignore the warning signs of burnout, your body is going to force you to stop, and unfortunately, it's not going to be at a convenient time. So give yourself permission to label it correctly. If you're tired, rest. If you're scared, start small. But stop calling yourself lazy, because you're not. So to help you stop the cycle of overwhelm, make sure you grab the weekly reset blueprint. It helps you set realistic expectations expectations for your week so you don't end up in that burnout trap. So comment weekly reset below and I'm gonna send it to you, or go to the description box below and download it. So thanks so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, make sure you like, subscribe to this channel, share with someone who needs a productivity boost, someone who is struggling with burnout or procrastination at this moment, and make sure you watch the video on the screen next. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.